Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be listing romance books based on specific tropes, and I know that I've watched a lot of these videos and I feel like people keep recommending the same books over and over, so I'm going to be recommending books I think you probably haven't heard of before or that I haven't seen people constantly keep recommending. So yeah, so let's get into it. Let's start with the first romance trope. I've tried to include as many as I could. If I missed anything, let me know down below and I'll do a part 2. First we have, of course, enemies to lovers, probably the most loved romance trope. And for this trope, I have First of Curses and Kisses by Sandhya Menon. This is like a Beauty and the Beast retelling set at a boarding school, and it almost seems like an urban fantasy. And then we have The Matchmaker's Summer by Annie Raines. This is a YA contemporary romance set at a summer camp. Then we have How to Hate Your Neighbor by Sophie Sullivan. This is an adult enemies to lovers romance about neighbors. A Disaster in 3 Acts by Kelsey Rodkey. This is I think enemies to lovers YA romance as well. Then we have The Wrath in the Dawn by Renee Ahdieh. This is a YA fantasy enemies to lovers. The next trope I have is academic rivals to lovers, and for this trope I have first All That's Left to Say by Emery Lord. This is kind of like a YA mystery romance coming of age sort of book. Then we have I Hope This Doesn't Find You by Anne Liang. Her books are all really good. She writes YA romance. I've read all of them, and this one's an enemies to lovers about a girl who wrote like letters and they all got released, sort of like To All the Boys I've Loved Before. Then we have Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute by Talia Hibbert. This is a YA academic rivals to lovers. Also Childhood Friends to enemies to academic rivals to lovers. Then we have a lot of these books actually may have like mixed tropes, like they might have been childhood friends but they're also academic rivals, but I put the one that I think the book focuses on mainly. Then we have Not Here to Be Liked by Michelle Kwok. This is also YA academic rivals to lovers. I feel like it's hard to find academic rivals to lovers that's not YA because usually it's set in a school setting, but yeah. And then then I have You Bet Your Heart by Daniel Parker. This is also a YA romance. Salt and Sugar by Rebecca Carvalho. This is a Romeo and Juliet retelling and it is YA. Last Chance Books by Kelsey Rodkey. This is also YA and it's it's not like academic rivals to lovers, but it's more like just rivals to lovers, similar to the last one, and it's just about like two bookstores, like the owners of two bookstores like rivaling against each other, and it's also YA. And then lastly, As If on Cue by Maria Cantor. This is an academic rivals to lovers and YA, and it also has a prank war in it. So if you guys like that, then you should go for that book. Now, number 3 is probably my favorite trope, fake dating. And for this one, I have quite a bit of recommendations. So first, Say You'll Be Mine by Nina Kapoor. This is an adult romance. Then Love Lies and Cherry Pies by Jackie Lowe. This is also an adult romance. The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren. This is her newest release, so I feel like I know her books are really popular, but maybe you haven't heard of them yet, so this is her newest one and it's a fake dating book. And I like this much more than her other book, The Unhoneymooners, which is also fake dating. Then I have Counting Down With You by Tashi Bhuyan. This is probably my favorite YA fake dating book of all time, so I recommend this to everyone. Fake It Till You Break It by Jen P. Nguyen. This is like a family friend fake dating sort of enemies to lovers sort of trope. Frankly in Love by David Soon. This one is similar to Fake It Till You Break It, and it's also YA. This Time It's Real by Anne Leong. This is also YA. The Upside of Falling by Alex Light. This is a Wattpad published story, so if you feel like you're not gonna like that, don't read it, but it was pretty good. It's like a football star with a bookworm, fake dating sort of trope. 7% of Rodever by Ellen O'Connor. This is my second favorite fake dating book. It's childhood friends to enemies to fake dating. It's so interesting, so good, and it's YA. This May End Badly by Samantha Markham. This is a rival, also sort of like a rivals to lovers fake dating sort of thing with opposite schools. It's YA. And then If You Could See the Sun by Anne Leong. This has a bit of magical realism in it, including the fake dating. And then yeah, that's all I have for fake dating. So the next trope I have, I couldn't find a lot of recs for this one. I know there were probably a lot more, but I just couldn't think of them. And it's slow burn romance. So I chose first, I only have 2 recommendations for this trope. I feel like there's probably a lot more. It's hard to think of books when it comes to slow burn, like what exactly is a slow burn, like how, like should the couples get together right at the end or sometime in the middle. So first I chose Scythe by Neil Shusterman. I chose this one because I know there's romance in this series, but I finished the first book and it hadn't happened yet, and I haven't read the rest of the series, so I don't know when it happens. But I think, to me, if the romance still hasn't happened at the end of the first book, I think that qualifies as a slow burn. And then the other recommendation, I haven't read any of her books, but I've heard a lot of other people talk about them, and it seems like any book by Mariana Zapata is going to be a slow burn romance, but you should double check before you go into one. Okay, then we have Childhood Friends to Lovers, another really loved trope, and for this one I have one of my favorite books of all time, Before I Fall by Lauren Oliver. This is a YA magical realism of Childhood Friends to Lovers. Then I have The Problem with Forever by Jennifer Lynn Armentrout. This is also a YA. Starry Eyes by Jen Bennett, YA. This is also like a childhood friends to lovers. But like also enemies to lovers, like the childhood friends turned enemies. Not Here to Stay Friends by Caitlin Hill. This is childhood friends turned strangers turned lovers, YA. Better Off Friends by Elizabeth Yulberg. This is YA, and the writing style is very unique compared to any other book I've read. Catching Jordan by Miranda Keneally. This is childhood friends, also a YA sports romance. Love Life in the List and Places We've Never Been, both by Casey West, YA childhood friends. Casey West writes good childhood friends lovers. Okay, so now we have there's still a lot of tropes to go. Next is forced proximity. I also couldn't really find a lot of books for this trope. I feel like it's similar to like the one bed trope, so that's kind of what I was going off. And also most of the books in this trope are like road trip romances, because like they're in the car the entire time, so I think that qualifies as forced proximity. But they're also usually like another trope as well, like enemies to lovers or something like that. So the first one is Rules for Rule Breaking by Talia Tucker. This one is like a childhood friend turned enemies to lovers. It's like a road trip romance, a YA. Then we have The Charm List by Julie Abe, also a YA, but it has some magical realism and it's a road trip romance. Everyone Hates Kelsey Miller by Meredith Ireland, also a YA road trip. I Want to Be Where You Are by Christina Forrest. I know you can guess, this is also a road trip YA romance. And then I have The Marriage Game by Sarah Desai. This is forced proximity, and it's an adult romance, and it's not a road trip romance. They're in the same house. Then we have a forbidden romance. I also couldn't think of much for this one, and ones I did think I feel like are already talked about, so I only have two. The first one thing is Everything by Nicole Yoon. This one's pretty popular, but I feel like not a lot of people know it's a forbidden romance. That's why I'm mentioning it. It's YA. And then Mashed by Ali Kondi. This is like a dystopian YA romance, forbidden romance. Next we have Love Triangle, and I really don't have a lot of tropes for this one because it's probably my least favorite romance trope. I really don't ever read love triangle romances, but I do have three recs, and I feel like all of these did it well. The first one is The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. You may have already heard about this. She wrote The Inheritance Games as well, which is also a love triangle, but that one's really hyped. This series is also a love triangle, and if you like Jennifer Lynn Barnes' work, you probably like this one. It's a series. Then we have Julieta and the Romeos by Maria Andrew. This is like a hidden identity and like love square romance where there's not just two love interests, there's like three Romeos. So this one's really interesting, and it's also, oh, I can't say this, it also has another trope, but I can't say it without spoiling the book. So yeah, and that's YA. And then lastly, Keeper of the Lost Cities by Shannon Messenger. It's a middle grade fantasy book series. Then we have Best Friend's Brother or Brother's Best Friend trope. And the first one I have is Ready or Not by Kara Bestone. This is a best friend's brother adult romance. Then Until Friday Night by Abby Lines. This is cousin's best friend, but you can sort of think of it like brother's best friend. It's a YA sports romance. Then The Dating Plan by Sarah Desai. This is brother's best friend's sister, I think, or brother's best friend. You'll have to check on that. This is an adult romance. Then we have Mr. Wrong Number by Lynn Painter. This is brother's best friend, an adult romance. And then The Princess Diaries by Mike Cable. This is best friend's brother, and it's a middle grade to YA series. Okay, then we have A Hidden Identity. I love this trope, and I have quite a bit of recs for it. The first one is Legend by Marie Lu, probably my favorite YA dystopian series of all time. It has hidden identity, and it's also an enemies to lovers. Then we have Flat Out Love by Jessica Park. This is a hidden identity YA romance. I would argue that it's also forced proximity as well, but that's not the main thing. Then Letters to the Lost by Bridget Kemmerer. This is a YA enemies to lovers hidden identity. Most of these are enemies to lovers. Alex Approximately by Jen Bennett is a hidden identity YA romance. P.S. I Like You by Casey West. This is the enemies to lovers hidden identity YA romance. Shipped by Meredith Tate is an academic rivals to lovers but also hidden identity. Tweet You by Emma Lord. This is also enemies to lovers hidden identity. I would say that it's YA, but it might be middle grade as well. And then lastly, I have Tell Me Three Things by Julie Bubaum. This is a YA hidden identity. Okay, second last is Grumpy Sunshine. I feel like most of the Grumpy Sunshine books are like hyped on TikTok, and I tried to look for ones I feel like aren't that hyped, but I didn't really find any really underrated books. These books I've seen on TikTok before, but they're not as popular. The first one is When in Rome by Sarah Adams. You might have already heard of this one, but this one's a good small town Grumpy Sunshine adult romance. Life's Too Short by Abby Jimenez. This is a Grumpy Sunshine reversed, I believe, by and it's an adult romance. And then lastly, Get a Life by Chloe Brown. This is also a Grumpy Sunshine adult romance. And the last trope we have is second chance romance. I know a lot of people love this trope, but I really don't. I don't read second chance romance at all. So the recs I have here, I only have 3, and these are second chance romances that I wouldn't say I really enjoyed, but I think if you are a fan of second chance romance, then you would enjoy it. The first one is What Happens After Midnight by K.L. Walther. If you've read The Summer of Broken Rules by K.L. Walther, then you should probably pick this up. This is a boarding school second chance romance YA. Then we have You Deserve Each Other by Sarah Hochul. This is like a marriage in peril second chance, like not really a second chance, but like marriage in peril adult romance. And then lastly, Second Chance Summer by Morgan Watson. If you want the summer vibes, YA romance, childhood friends to childhood lovers, second chance romance, then you'd probably like this one. And that's all the tropes and recommendations I have for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If I missed out on anything, let me know down below, and see me next week for a next video.